Good morning and welcome to the day one of webinar series on advanced technology. I am Sonal Kamal, your host for this webinar series. First of all, let me thank you for taking the time to join us today. Today is all about uncovering some insights of artificial intelligence. The rapid development of AI has opened a window in time to discuss, debate, and dream of many ways this technology could impact all aspects of our lives. We have also arranged a small session for career enhancement in this domain and an overview of ACT CDAC courses at the end of the session. So stay tuned to learn more about it. So without any further ado, let me introduce you to the expert of the day. He has been in this domain for more than 8 exclusive years. He has been associated with different industries during these years. He is working in the field of AI with the interest of making AI available to masses. To not only this, with his experience in AI domain, he has not limited himself to this only. He has also has expertise in HPC, which is high performance computing, cloud computing, scalable artificial intelligence infrastructure, to name a few. I am fortunate to say this that currently he is working with us in CDAC as a CDAC scientist. And I'm sure that this, with his experience and dynamic range of knowledge, this webinar will be a fruitful results for you also. So please welcome our expert of the day, Mr. Amarjit Sharma. So over to you, sir.
Thank you, Sonal, for this introduction, and thank you all the participants for joining the session. This session will be all about to how to make a career in an artificial intelligence if you choose to be, and what are the process, what are the challenges, what you can expect, what are the preparations you should start working on if you want to join, and what you can expect, what are the industry is saying, what is market is saying. And in the similar line, I have prepared that agenda, which will give you a good overview of this domain. Let me remind you that this is not a webinar series where you can expect a technical learning and to become an expert in this artificial intelligence, because the time limitations and the nature of this webinar is not for that. It is for to make sure how you start with a good platform, with a good knowledge, and you would be doing good in that domain. And what is lying ahead, where you can make impact, what are you can expect that you can do better, and where you can target. So all these things we will cover within the time allocated. So let's start. The first will be the summary, means it's a glimpse of what is artificial all about with your career perspective. So artificial intelligence, it's officially started in 1950 with Alan Turing turning programs to measure and hypothesize a theory to how to measure that a machine is intelligent or not, it is a normal machine or intelligent machine. And later this year, it's moved ahead with machine learning, deep learning. And now we are mostly working in machine and deep learning and other things, which we will discuss in the further slides. So this is the exact achievements, or this is the layout of the achievements from early 1950 to this late 17 or 18, 2017, 18, that what we have done or what the scientist has done till date to do a good or to make this artificial intelligence available to masses where it is. So 1950, Alan Turing, the scientist, had hypothesized and written a paper that computing machines and intelligence, where he developed a process, methods and algorithms to measure machine intelligence, whether it could be an intelligent machine or it could be a machine with artificial intelligence or not. And later, 1956, the John McCarthy, which is the father of AI also, he formally introduced the term called artificial intelligence, and then it went on from deep blue machines, which defaces chess grandmaster of that time, Gary Kasparov, and Sony launched later a pet dog with artificial intelligence, which showed the improvement in their personality and behavior towards the human approach and the stimulus or stimuli generated by the sensors. So, and later the first means public product available with artificial intelligence was the Roomba. That means a vacuum cleaner. In a room, it automatically detects the room size and the places where you can create a boundary, or you call geofencing. So those places it will exclude or include where to clean, where to means roam around, where not to. So this was the first means artificial intelligence product made available to public. And later Google Alpha beats Go Player. And 2016, I think the Sophia, that humanoid, which is currently in UAE. And then multiple voice assistants appeared from 2011 to 2016, like Siri, Alexa, Google Assistant. So these are the things they appear in the timeline. Means a lot of thought, a lot of hard work has been put into that, into the artificial intelligence domain to reach where we are today. This is the market. This is a survey done by the multiple agency called Tractica and other along with the Tractica to give you the glimpse that, okay, this is the money the people are going to earn and invest as well in this domain. So it's keep rising. You can see from 2016 to 2025, it is continuously increasing. So that means if you make a career in this one, so you have a very good opportunity, good chance, and a good platform to make an impact and make some good earning for yourself. To give some data, that is current 2021, like the recent study said that the current market for this artificial intelligence is around 100 billion. And the forecasted the value would be 2028, 2030 would be around 1,000 billion. So it is direct 10 times increment in this 9-10 years. So every year it is expected to grow by 100%. Since it is a growing field, it's a domain, so that means we need both the hardware and software along with the manpower to move forward with this gigantic field. So the first means we see that, okay, what is the demand and supply in the market? If you wanted to pick a career, that is the first thing you need to evaluate. So in 2018, this opening in artificial intelligence was at around 140K. And only 78K of that total opening was filled with those manpower which were skilled, which were able to do some work, some productive works in the artificial intelligence. So that time the gap was 60 to almost 50%. In the end of the 2021, this survey said that 50% is still gap. 230K opening was there, but only 140K people were able to be fulfilled with the skill, the knowledge, and the background which was required to fulfill those posts. So there is a huge deficit, and I think it's keep increasing day by day. So there is a huge opportunity in artificial intelligence to make a good career. So it is top 4. If you can take the skill trends, who are the top 4 skillful manpower, which is trending, or the people are joining are the most satisfied with in earning, in the job satisfaction, in the impact in the industry or the society. So artificial intelligence come on the 4th position with 71% growth it shows in 2021. So let's go to this from market to its history. So we will start with a very ancient from a mythological period where the conceptualization, what the people thought that time, from there to the today where we are talking about humanoids. So in 1027 years ago, people in a village of Rajasthan, Kalkatu, they found a huge cascade sealed, means airtight sealed, and they got a skeleton which was not human. So they said from there, they study and mythology story said that they found a humanoid robots, and later they claimed that it was Barbary. And the scriptures, the ancient books also said that Barbaric was alive, while with his head only, the body was cut off from that. So they deduced that, okay, it cannot be human, it should be a robot. The Kumbhakaran was also assumed to be a robot, something like a Hulk, if you have seen the Avengers. So they said that it kept inactive, we call it sleeping, in the ancient scriptures. They kept it inactive due to its high maintenance. This gigantic machine could not be used day to day. The Ravana only used when it was utmost a requirement in a battlefield where uh, the defeat is almost sure. Then they use the Kumbhakarna, and they also means bifurcate the word Kumbhakarna. In a two is called Kumbh plus Karna. That means the one who had uh, ears of pots. And in scriptures also, it is also mentioned somewhere that the father of Ravana has created Kumbhakarna. It is not means written that he had born or he had means through the biological process. It is not mentioned like the Ravana was born with his mother Kakshi, but Kumbhakarna was created. It's called Nirmita. So, and later it is also somewhere in our ancient scriptures, I've been mentioned that asuras, that means demons, created multiple robots to win wars over the deities, the Adityas. So what they did was, one of them was specifically mentioned in the ancient scriptures. It's called Sambrasur. He created three robots like Dama, Vyala, Kala. Three names. He said that one to stop the movement of the army to moving forward, means forward, and the one is to destroy the army as much as the possible, and the third one was to do something with the time travel. So all these things are where the thoughts, at least the thoughts were there, that okay, there should be something which should be acting like humans, but it's not actually human. So machines, the thought of machine with human intelligence was there in means thousands or 8,000 or 11,000 years ago also. In the world also, like Arthur Al-Jaziri has described a process to creating a programmable automata in musics. And he has also written a lot of things about how mechanical parts or machine can be made work and can be created and can be introduced intelligence to do a work of a human. Later, an author called Paracelsus had also described a procedure to how to fabricate. It's not introducing machine intelligence into the machine, but how to fabricate an artificial human. So he had described a lot of methodology, methods, and all. So if and also in like 450 BC or 440 BC, if you can go that era, the ancient Greek history also mentions that Hephaestus has that kind of servants who were golden robots. So they were means automated servants. They come, they serve, they go, and their appearance was not like human. It is mentioned into their history. So that was this ancient era. The modern era begins with around 17th century, where the mathematicians like Gottfried and his contemporary scientists and mathematicians, astrologers, they established that if a human can do a reasoning to solve a problem so that it can be introduced into a logic, so the similar thing can be introduced to machine also. So later, Alan Turing proved that, okay, if a machine can mimic this kind of behavior, then it can be called intelligent machine. But that time, the problem was the infrastructure, the computational power, the technology to implement all those things were not there, but the thoughts were there. The whole motive of this making the history of artificial intelligence is to show that the whole thoughts were there. That is important. To do anything new, to solve anything, you first need to understand the basic background that, okay, what are available, what is the problem. You might not able to solve it, but if you can formulate a problem in a proper way, that is also a big achievement. Later in a 45 or 44, 45, that IBM commissioned a computer where AI, artificial intelligence programs can be run. After 1 year, it was decommissioned. So, but that era was officially, means you can assume that after 54, means 55, 54, the artificial intelligence were come into the action where people started implementing things over actual computers. Before that, people were working on a smaller machines, the memory was limited. You can assume that the hardware were so old that in a 10 by 10 room, if you can fit a computer that can only do a computation of one by million times of a today's mobile. So the speed was so slow. So AI or artificial intelligence program cannot be assumed to work on those. So for this, we will do that much only the history. It will take a huge time to go and cover all the things in detail, but it gives you the glimpse that from ancient time to the modern era, there is a huge thought process, huge efforts had been put into to reach where we are today. And so with this one, let's introduce to the basics of artificial intelligence. What are the basic grounds? We won't go into much details, but we'll try to cover the terminology and some facts so that later on, if I explain something, it'll easier to understand for those people who are not well aware with the artificial intelligence or who are trying to just get into the artificial intelligence domain. So the first question is, what is intelligence? So forget about artificial or natural or human or non-human intelligence. We will first establish a basic fact. What is intelligence? That intelligence means your ability to learn. So your ability to learn, that means if you have seen something, you can deduce a logic. Later on, you can apply the same logic if the next problems comes to you. This whole process is called problem solving. So intelligence means you can identify the problem, you can solve the problem. And if someone is demonstrating something, you can learn from that. If someone is planning something, you can deduce some logic from that. And later on, you apply the same logic to solve a problem. So that is intelligence. That means you can learn logic and you can deduce logic, and later on, you can apply the same logic to solve the problems or to solve the same problem or the different problem or the similar problem. There is huge range. So next comes to what is human intelligence. So it is not like a human had been wired to something. It's means biological neuron, perceptrons, all those components that build infrastructure into our minds, which do a lot of things. Some of important things I have listed down, like neuralistic understanding. We see the natures, we sense it, we understand it. What is the flower, the morning, the dew, the cold, the heat, those things we can sense from the nature. Then a logical reasoning. We do some logical mathematical modeling, inducing, inferencing something. So from one statement to jumping to another statement, and the correlation between those, or those things we can do. Then spatial visualization, we can visualize 3D, and body movements are also controlled through the human brain. And linguistic, we can have a different language, different medium to communicate. And the thought process, interpersonal and the intrapersonal, the communication skills. So if someone shows this, at least these kind of things, so we can say that he has a human intelligence. If someone is failed to perform all of these or any of these, so that is there is something defective or there's something wrong with this. So what to do next is out of scope from there, from the today's session. So let's go to artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence is a plain and simple thing. First word is artificial, the second word is intelligence. Artificial means that should not be human, it should be mechanical. It could be a computer, it can be a microchip, you can be any other machine. The first computer itself was a mechanical computer. It's do calculation based on some mechanical movement. So any of those sort of hardware, software, the combine of both, that can perform some intelligence. That intelligence could be the reasoning, the learning. It can learn from the inputs provided. We call the data, the inputs for this artificial intelligence models or machines or the data. And it can show some problem solving skill. And it already shown IBM Watson is already in Jeopardy in 2013. And it can perceive something. The perceiving is possible through the sensors. So yes, the language and communication can be achieved in artificial intelligence through natural language processing. So all these domains, if we can work and make to mimic intelligence, we call that, okay, that particular machine is intelligent machine, and combined with all, it comes under a domain called artificial intelligence. The formal definition, if you can go to, there are many, I have picked a few. All of them is combinedly saying that there is a machine which can mimic the behavior of a human, which can imitate an intelligent human behavior. Any machine, if it is doing that, we call it a machine with intelligence, or that entire work comes under artificial intelligence. The machine is capable of showing any intelligence. It's called machine with artificial intelligence, or robots, or chatbots, humanoid, uh, any other terms you call. So that is, I don't think it matters anything, but the basic idea is that anything that intelligence human behavior means, that mimics, that puts intelligence into something and mimics human behavior. Human behavior means how we interact, how we respond. If we get something as an input, how we react. If the same thing can be achieved through a mechanical device or a machine, we call it artificial intelligence enabled machine, or a machine capable of showing intelligence. So there are three major types of artificial intelligence. They have categorized into three. One is called narrow artificial intelligence. That means we call it weak artificial intelligence. This machine is doing only one kind of things. Like if artificial intelligence robot is only doing talking, that means he can only talk. He cannot do a facial recognition. He cannot do any other task. He just be trained to do only one task. Then is a general artificial intelligence. That means it perform more than one. It is called the advanced stage of narrow intelligence. And the next one is super intelligence. That means it can do everything which a human can do. Because if you can see their logics, the main idea of dividing this domain into three, it comes through understanding of how human behaves. Like a human, it might be a doctor, so he has his domain specializations. Along with that, he can drive a car. He's a friend. He can solve this problems of mathematics, biology, chemistry. He can be a father, husband, multiple roles. He can go and buy vegetables. He can go and shop the daily uh, consumables. So a lot of things a human can do, and all the things at the same time with the very good precisions. So that is a super AI. That is what artificial intelligence community, artificial intelligence scientists, engineers, and everybody else in the world want to achieve, to create something which can do almost everything which a human can do. So we are somewhere between stage 1 and 2, that means from narrow to general AI. So this is two stage, or entire artificial intelligence domain is divided into three types of learning. Learning is the primary part of the artificial intelligence. Without learning, we cannot make someone intelligent. Somebody has to learn from somewhere, like humans do, from a very infant stage till the death. Every day we are learning from the environment, from the books, from the conversations, or the media, or whatever the available resources are. We are learning day by day. So the first one kind of learning is supervised learning. That means somebody is there to guide. Like it is, we can understand like this, that classroom teaching. The teacher is teaching, we have the resources, we have this material, but somebody is there to explain what it meant, what is it, how to read, what to deduce, what to conclude. So all those things are well organized. Everything means the question and answer both are provided. So that way, that environment we work in is called supervised environment, and the learning to artificial intelligence model in that sort of environment is called supervised learning. The second one is unsupervised learning. That means there is nobody to guide. It's like self-study. You got the resources, you have to discover the underlying meaning of those resources, what it means, what you need to perceive. You have to do it by your own. So there is no one to guide. So you go by a particular pattern, your own ability, understandability, you go by your own. The next one is reinforcement learning here. That means artificial intelligence model, or artificial intelligence machine, or a robot is sent into, means it put into the environment where it has some basic training, but from there on, it learns by its own. Like it do something, it gets the, it receives the reactions, and then it corrects itself. And it's keep on adding those learnings into their metadata, or the database, or the states which it need to be preserved. Later it adds accordingly. So you can understand that if that dog in the picture is a robot, so depending upon what reaction he received from the environment, it corrects itself. So that kind of a learning is called artificial intelligence reinforcement learning. Then it comes that, okay, we need to train the model. So what do you mean by training? So basically it means that with some stimulus, we get a particular response. A stimulus for artificial intelligence, or machine learning, or deep learning, or reinforcement learning. In those terms, stimulus means data, logic. From a particular input, what I should deduce, and whether it is correct or not, this whole process is called training. So like if there is a, like you see in this diagram, so they tune this particular character with a particular condition. That is, we give you the input, that input with particular condition. If it met the condition, you have to react into certain way. You have to respond into certain way. That sort of thing is called the model training. So now we understood that, okay, what is there in the market, what is the history, and what is the basics in the very ground level things in artificial intelligence. So let's see where it has been applied till date. So I think everybody has seen one or the other voice assistant like Siri if you are using Apple products, Alexa if you are using Amazon, and Google and Cortana if you are using Windows or Android phones. So these are the voice assistant. That means they will receive input as a voice and they can respond. They can produce response, they can generate response. Right or wrong or how much accurate, that is another things and out of scope for the session. But they are there, they are very much there. And the other one is IBM Watson in 2013. It won a show called Jeopardy. That means your knowledge is tested on a diverse domain available. So they will ask a question, they give the words, you choose and you pick the question, you answer. So this kind of thing, it beats the best Jeopardy player on that time. And three people were there. One is artificial intelligence machine, IBM Watson, and two players were introduced, and they played for 2 days, and the machine won. Next, the social media tagging. I hope everybody is using this one, that artificial intelligence applications are able to tag an individual person. They can recognize the individual images and they can deduce that, okay, this particular section of an image is a particular individual, you can tag it. Or if it is already available into one of your social profiles or in your photos or any other places, if you have already tagged it, they can automatically be tagged. Recently, this Army has initiated, US Army particularly has initiated this artificial intelligence fire accident mitigation, mostly for forest fires. So they can simulate that environment through artificial intelligence model, that what kind of environment initiate that's and more prone to the fire accidents in a forest, what are the parameters, and what is the best way to approach. So the artificial intelligence model, if we properly simulated through entire forest area, domain, and parameters, weathers, and everything, if provided to the model, it can mimic that what is the best way to mitigate that fire accident. There are also simulators which can create a different scenario for army personnel or a defense personnel to simulate a kidnapping of an aircraft. What is the best way to mitigate it? What are the possible chances? And all these scenarios, if you can give the data to a particular model, it will generate different scenario. May be known, may not be known, the different thing, but it will give you a new scenario. So the preparation could be a very good. A face ID or a facial recognition is also being very much popularly used. Like your phone can be locked and unlocked through your face. And Sophia, humanoid robots, is already working. Is very available for demonstration. It is traveling across the world to show that humanoid is possible through artificial intelligence. Many companies, including Uber and Tesla, are seamlessly working to create a self-driving car. That means a car which is capable or which is equipped with such a technology which can drive itself, and you have just need to tell the source and destination, it will directly take you there, and it will reduce the majority of the accidents or the other incidents that might occur if a human driver is there. So we have seen some of the applications which are being used in a recent time of artificial in the domain of artificial intelligence. Let's move into what is there, what is there next, what can be done or what hasn't been done, what people are thinking to do in this section. So see that if you can guess that what are the domain where artificial intelligence can apply. So you can say roughly every domain. If you can provide data, if you can formulate a problem, if you have a way of representing your problem and solution, those things can be done through artificial intelligence. So it is everywhere on social media, on self-driving cars, in e-commerce solutions, in your social media pages, in your kiosk machine, your customer care centers, everywhere this technology is applicable and people are using it. In industry, in heavy industries like manufacturing or smartphone manufacturing or electrical and electronics component manufacturing, everywhere that artificial intelligence is applied, and the robots or the machine with the intelligence are doing jobs for us. So if you can think ahead, so AI for good, that means AI can be used to simulate the situation across the globe, that okay, what are the resources, what are the demand, how the best way we can supply to the maximum of the population, how to eradicate the problem. The similar way aviation, we have to means we can do a lot of things like predicting failure, predicting maintenance, the best way of takeoff and landing, best route possible, the best speed, the fuel, and repair warning or weather forecast warning. Every parameter from booking to the reaching destination and returning from there, all those things can be properly handled through artificial intelligence solutions. Smart classes are already there. Where teaching is done in different way. We name it a blended learning. That means some teaching is done by teachers, something the students have to do their own, and from there they can get a help from chatbots or education bots or artificial intelligence modules, which are capable of guiding them through their course of particular topic. In healthcare, there is a huge opportunity. We started it like we started with like personalized medicine. People are doing a great work, like modeling disease like breast cancers and blood cancers, their regions, how to operate, like their cosmetic surgeries like facial constructions and all can be simulated through artificial intelligence. If people are simulating, there is a huge scope to improve it. Heavy industry is already employing robots in terms of, but a lot of other automations can be done through artificial intelligence. The more effectiveness can be introduced through artificial intelligence into heavy industry. Many algorithms like algorithmic trading, market analysis, other things are done through artificial intelligence to provide a better forecast of a finance or a stock market. But a lot of other services and a lot of scope is there for improvement, because we are getting connected to every other devices. We are able to reach through a digital media from one part of the globe to the other part of the globe. So through these connections, we are generating a huge data. Initially, it was said that, okay, petabytes of data will be available in a day. Now we are saying that zettabyte of data will be available in a day. So what will be the utmost achievement, if I can think, or if you can speculate, or I can speculate. So if you have seen any of these, so the robot can reach to that level. That means AI can reach to that level where will be very hard to detect that whether it is a human or it is artificial intelligence machine. So that is where future lies. So from today's state to that state, there is a huge challenge. There is a huge scope. You can step in and take a good call into that. So next segment is what are the career opportunities are there, what are the challenges with it, how you should proceed, how you should start, how you shouldn't make those mistakes that we already made, or your predecessors have made that mistake you need to avoid, how you can start with a very good note and to put a maximum effort to give a much better outcomes and to perform way better than we are. So the first thing, what are the job roles available? So that is, you can be artificial intelligence engineer. That means you need to understand data, you simulate the data, you suggest what are the models available to use that data, what kind of outcome is expected. Then you can be an architect. That means you can design that models, you can provide a solutions to a particular problem through artificial intelligence. For that, the expertise are available, the mediums are available, the efforts are the only needed thing. You can be a research associate, you can be an ML or AI ops engineer. That means you can design that entire your services as a part of an operations in artificial intelligence to give the whole thing as a service. And there a lot of scope is there also. You can be a data scientist for ethical AI. That is another huge area where what AI should or shouldn't do, and in what way it should or shouldn't do, is a lot of things there. So these are the roles where if you choose AI career, you can land in one or the other, and later you can progress from one to another. So what are the required things, what you should have to basically start or kickstart your career? So you should knowing basic mathematics and statistics. I have already written like linear algebra, Bayesian networkings, or means probabilistic theorems, probability matrices, algebra. These things are the basic need. Along with that, at least you should be aware with the data structures. At least one programming language you should know, and you should be knowing basics about how programs run, what is parallel, what is sequential, what are the algorithms, how to execute it, how to measure a particular parameter through a particular algorithm. Like you are, if you have studied or if you have gone through, if you have heard that algorithms are measured in terms of time complexity and storage complexity. So those things, how they are measuring, what they are doing, what are the functions, how they are implemented. So those basics of these things you should be able to carry before starting your career in artificial intelligence. Then what are challenges into that career if you are choosing artificial intelligence? So artificial intelligence is available in all the domains across the market. You can see in cybersecurity, in healthcare, manufacturing, transportation, education, any domain you can think, AI is applicable. So the challenge is whatever role you are currently joining or you are picking, that should be interdisciplinary. That means the technical knowledge is required to understand the problem, but to solve that problem effectively, you should also have a domain knowledge. The problem, domain knowledge means the knowledge of the domain from where the problem is emerging. Only then you can provide a better solution. So domain knowledge is important. The role is evolving. Much and much more expertise and skills are expected out of AI or ML or a DL engineer. So that are those challenges. Now the final thing, the basic work or the very basic motive of this session was how you can start your career in artificial intelligence. The first one and the easiest one, you should have a formal education in artificial intelligence. That means you do a graduation or a post-graduation course in artificial intelligence. The second one, if you haven't done or you are in a different path, like you have done MSc in IT or you are mathematics students, then from there also you can pitch into this one. There are many interdisciplinary degrees, courses are available. You can take it and you can start your career from there. There is another option that you do an advanced diploma course, which give you a very good knowledge, background, and platform from where you can start your AI career. Finally, the most important thing, what you can expect, how much salary, how much money, how much monetary value you can expect from those domain. You can see artificial intelligence listed at the first place, and you can get that much of package to start with. So if you have any questions, anything you want to ask, this is the time. Thank you for the session. Thank you for joining and listening so patiently. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir, for this amazing session. Hope you enjoyed this amazing presentation by Amarjeet Sharma. As we promised you to deliver an additional session on an overview of ACT CDET course and various career opportunities on how to shape your career in artificial intelligence. We have an CDEC expert who have guided and motivated mainly young minds before. So I welcome Saket sir to please go ahead.
So thank you very much, Sonal. And indeed, it was a enlightening session on artificial intelligence, its history, background, and the career prospect for me too, and certainly for all the engineering graduates and MCA students who have joined us. So the major objective of this webinar series of all 5 days would be to give you a glimpse of all these technologies, 5 technologies which we are using, and then also show you the importance of it related to your career. So as a student, I would also be interested only if I am going to learn something or if I see something coming out of a webinar or a seminar or a workshop. So the takeaway of this webinar series, all these 5 days, I would request everyone to join in, would be 2 things. One is to learn about a technology, just have a glimpse, overview, abstract thing. What is it? How can I jump in, and my career prospect? What should I learn if I'm going to go into it? How should I go into it? What is the career roadmap, career path which I should take if I want to go in AI, if I want to go in cybersecurity, if I want to go in blockchain, and all those technologies which we have included. So my discussion would be 5 to 10 minutes, and then we could have an open session where you could discuss your doubt with our AI expert. And also if you want to know about the ACTS courses of CDAC, which is very high level courses and beneficial for all those students who have joined us. So this whole webinar series is organized by CDAC Patna, and we are one of the 12 research lab centers of CDAC spread across India. And our vision is same as of CDAC, to emerge as a premier R&D institute for the design, development, and deployment of world-class electronic and ICT solutions for economic and human advancement. So this circle which you see on the right side of slide would give you a brief idea about the frameworks on which we work and our scientists work on. And it has divided into application framework, service framework, research, and R&D frameworks. So on these, the 5 technologies which we have chosen are one of those technologies which are mandated for us to work in R&D and research area for the society and nation as a whole. So these are the technical expertise CDAC has, and we have scientists across this region and group, and the research and lab setup across India in these technologies as main, and to disseminate the knowledge we gain through these technologies, working on the national projects on these technologies and different critical projects which are for the society and the nation. We want to, in parallel to this, we want that this knowledge should be disseminated to the young generation which are coming out of BTech colleges or master's colleges, so that they can take it forward. Living in India to make, it can be in the VLSI, it can be in IoT, it can be in cybersecurity, it can be using HPC for health informatics or development of some high advanced machine learning models or deep learning models. It can be anything. So one of those cells which we have formed in 1993 is Education and Training Group, which will, what is the objective here is that all the scientists of CDAC and the domain experts from industries, they come together and deliver the talk. So it is not the conventional professor or associate assistant professor who are in the teaching field always. Rather, the delivery of the talk or the sessions would be done from those who are working practically on those domains. So that gives an edge to all the students who would be joining CDAC as a student in ACTS. So CDEC Patna has three major technological landscape. That is AI, artificial intelligence, as a major and the flagship technological landscape responsibility of CDEC Patna, you can say. Then we have embedded in IoT devices, and we have cyber security, where we are in all these fields. We have started our research work. We have developed a resource center at our premises, and also in parallel to all this R&D work, we are also starting different high-level education training programs in these three domains. So this is one group which I am talking of. In this, as in computing power, we have recently set up two AI petaflop scalable supercomputer. This is first of its kind for Eastern India. And this is known as, we have given the name Param Buddha, as AI supercomputer, not an HPC supercomputer, rather AI supercomputer with technical specification, which I mentioned in the slide. So this is a major booster, would be as a technical, as a computing power for the AI R&D, and also for the education and training for AI. So these two would be filled up using this AI supercomputer. It could be used as an instance given to students as an instance for their project work, or it could be used by our scientists for research and development work. So this has been installed in our premises, and students are those who have enrolled with us previously. They are being benefited also. This is the software stack our team has designed for Param Buddha. If as a startup you come to us, or as a student project, or as an intern, or as a national project, then this is a stack we have in generalized way we have designed for Param Buddha. And the future plan, it is in process, is to connect our Param Buddha of two AI petaflop supercomputer with the 63rd in whole world in ranking, the Param Siddhi, which is in CDEC Pune. So the connection, if I tell you in very simple language, it would be like if you having a very huge complex model being deployed or trained or being tested on our supercomputer, and if it is a need that it would need more instances or more computing power, we are developing a mechanism through which it can be seamlessly integrated to Param Siddhi. Means the task would be executed there and you would get the result. So that is already in place in design, and we would be surely implementing very soon. Next major group and our expertise of CDEC Patna is in cybersecurity and cyber forensics, where we have developed a resource center with these tools of CDEC, different lab centers. We have also collaborated with IIT Patna to make different products using AI and cybersecurity for text signature verification or text verification or sentiment analysis on social media. And third, and most important with respect to smart city, but in parallel with AI and cybersecurity, is IoT and embedded, where we have taken few of the verticals like 5G, twin technologies, agriculture, IoT in agriculture, IoT in smart city as a research development area. And we are continuously working on it with certain POCs under our belt. So your major, these all slides were to give you brief why it is very necessary to have an R&D in place, and also let the knowledge flow to the exact students who are passing out of any region of India or say any world, because it is useless if I work on some project and I research or I found something new and I'm not able to pass it to new generation. So with that more objective, CDEC Pune, and I would say corporate office of CDEC, not invented but recognized or formed new group known as ACTS, in short form ACTS, that is Advanced Computing Training School. And CDEC Patna has also, in parallel to these three technologies which I have shown earlier, we have launched ACTS in September 2021. And we have launched many high-end courses which are accredited by NSQF. So this ACTS was launched in 1993, And from last 28 years, we have launched many such programs which were first of its kind in Indian industry. So, and I would not be lying if I say that if you go in any of the top major companies, MNCs in India and abroad, you would find the student of ACTS in some form or another would be at the top level, because we are in operation since last 20 years. We are training in HPC, we are training in AI when no one was there in as in training field in AI. We are training in DBDA from last 5-7 years. So many of the courses I would show you in the coming slide. So with this objective of 3, like finishing school for IT aspirants, it is a skill development, upskilling or reskilling. It is done at CTech ACTS, and with industry, we have a long-term association in 2 forms. One is we have trainers from ICT domains, which are expertise of, let's say, cybersecurity, AI, blockchain, whatever course they would be taking. And also we have at the end of the course, after successful completion of the students, we have a national common placement program organized across India, where around 400 plus recruiters come on board. So they are already on board. So across different regions they come. Patna is also one of the regions of National Common Placement Program. And this kind of association and trust is built with the training we give to students. So this is the overall 360-degree intervention cycle, with which we start any course and we deliver any course for the students. Now coming to the ACTS CTech Patna, these are few webinar series which we have organized free of cost with very high experts, domain experts of industries for students like you and the aspirants or the professionals who are willing to change their line, or let's say the technology on which they are working. So we have organized a 14-day, 14 expert talk on AI and data science, 4-day webinar on cybersecurity with hands-on, IoT, and also career counseling for new students who are coming out of the engineering colleges. This was also one of those initiatives where around 746 participants were benefited. And these all webinars which I have shown you these are few 8 speakers which were on board and still on board with CTech Patna to provide the knowledge which they have gained in their industry experience to the students, so that they understand the importance of different technologies and they understand that what is the right way to go in that. For example, if I have done my BTech and if I attend a single webinar, I don't think I would be in the right position to go and work in AI or work in cybersecurity, work in blockchain. I would need a roadmap, and that would be given rightly so by someone who is working in that field from last 5-10 years, so that he understand that, okay, as a student, I was having that challenge. And if someone was not there to show me a roadmap, I can show them now. So these all speakers and today's speaker, Mr. Amarjit Sharma, we all have the same thing in mind, so that we can give you a roadmap which will show you that what is the career prospect, why you should jump into it, and how you can start your career path from now. What are the courses which are designed so that if you complete it, you don't wait 1 or 2 years or say 1 or 2 months to get a job. So that is all the objective of this webinar as a whole, and ACTS of CTech Patna as a unit. So from IBM, you can see the Chief Cyber Officer, Mr. Retired Colonel Indrajit Singh Barar was onboarded. Mr. Jigar Hilani, Director, Solution Architect and Engineer Group, NVIDIA is on there. Gaurav Rajput from BNY Mellon, founder and CEO of ITM-TB Technologies, Mr. Akash Ahuja. Sweta Sinha ma'am, Director Ascent Learning from Stanford, USA. Muhammad MD Azimul Haq, subject matter expert and consultant data scientist of Aflaka Electronics, and Associate Director of Growth, Mr. Varun Singh. So these all are onboarded with us to have you that experience and have you that knowledge, so that you can understand the depth of AI or any field in general, if I can say. And you can have a mentorship from them, so that you are not diverted and you understand that this is where I have to go and They design the courses, they design the labs, the experiments for you, so that you are right on track on these duration of the courses which we give you. Now coming to ACTS, the most advanced level courses, postgraduate diploma courses. These are NSQF level 8 courses which are designed for you. And in total, we have 12 PG diploma courses run across the CDAC centers of India. And these are few 8 courses which are most common and career oriented. PG DAC is our flagship program, which is successfully running from last 25 years. Then we have PGDI in artificial intelligence, 900 hours course. Then we have in Internet of Things, big data analytics, in IT infra, system and security, embedded design, system design. Then we have VLSI design. Then robotics, we have recently launched one batch is about to pass in robotics and allied technologies that is run exclusively by CDAC Kolkata. Now, these are the highlights which you should always, this is interest of you, because this is why I would say, I would urge you all to get into ACTS and get into this line if you want to change your domain, if you want to get a specialized job, not a general service level job which you can get in any XYZ company. If you do these courses, you are specialized in one domain and your career would be set in a simple way, if I can say. So these courses are well-established courses with excellent placement records of around 90%. So when I'm saying these stats, it is backed by the data which we have. Then it is a 30-week full-time courses with 900 hours of theory, lab and project. And it is generally a hands-on course with around 60-40% ratio. Then we are having continuous lab and internal assessment during the whole course. This is online mode we are conducting this batch. So you can sit anywhere and join the course in CTech Patna. So this is an online mode. Then we have centralized course and theory exams. Then these courses, as I've said earlier, are designed and developed in consultation with domain experts in CDAC, scientists of CDAC, academia and ICT industries. Then the faculty are from CDAC and ICT, and the mode would be tutorials, hand-on and project. And placement orientation, as I've communicated many a times, it is one of the major objectives which we provide you. And since you are already trained rigorously by the CDAC scientists and the domain experts, we are at ease when it comes to placement, because you are already at that level that you can crack any company process. Now coming, those 12 courses were from all CDAC. Now from CDAC Patna, we are running PG DAC that is reserved for certain candidates, sponsored candidates, and to open candidates or open to everyone of any region, not only Bihar, any region, if I am say, we are running PGDAI, that is PG Diploma, Postgraduate Diploma in Artificial Intelligence, and Postgraduate Diploma in Internet of Things. For this batch, which is starting from March, we are not running IoT. That is why I put 6 marks there, because it would be it is not possible to have lab in online mode. That is a challenge for this center. So we are running AI only for this batch. From next batch onwards, we will be running both courses. So these all courses are NSQF level 8. And now what is this? To give you a perspective, NSQF level 10 is PhD. So you can understand the seriousness and the amount of work which I have put in for this PG diploma course. These are 900 hours course, and around 400 plus recruiters come in National Common Placement Program across India. Now, how to apply? You can visit this link, and if you want, I can share on chat and the WhatsApp group which we have connected. You can first understand how to register for this. You can have a very thorough checkup of eligibility criteria. And then a common entrance test is done, which is on 22nd and 23rd January 2022, which is known as CCAT. So every examination pattern and syllabus would be provided there. And then after, if you qualify this, you are undergone counseling and seat allocation. So every process would be given on the website and very transparent manner it is done. So you won't have any doubt. In any case you have a doubt, the CDAC Patna helpline is there. You could call on that. It is shared on the brochure and the poster through which you have registered, and on our website patna.ca.in. And the date which I have mentioned here is the date which is open now for the registration of this PG diploma, MSc level 8 course. So December 23rd to January 13th, that is where you can register yourself. So the link which you see here, if I may just briefly tell you, and the admission booklet which I have given, this is also available on our website. So this is the link which I will share with you. I hope you are able to see. Let me, yeah. So this is the link, and eligibility criteria in detail it is given. So you would not have any doubt. Anyhow, if you have any doubt, you can call us anytime. And I would recommend all of you, those who are graduated, or trying to have a career change, or being stuck and not clear where to go. So this is the thing where you should register, clear the exam, go through the transparent process which we are following across India, and then apply for the course. So we are running AI, artificial intelligence. So, and we have sufficient IT and manpower both to train you to become an expert in artificial intelligence, at least to a level so that you can clear any of interviews organized by companies. So you can apply for this CCAT, and then in counseling, you could apply for PG diploma in artificial intelligence for CDEC Patna. So that is what I wanted to communicate to you all. And this is a brief pictorial view of the companies which are onboarded for us. And for you as an interest, CDEC Patna is a new placement region. So you don't have to go anywhere else. If you are teaching here, that would also means we would be more committed that the student of this center get placed highly in the placement region, since we are already the placement region. So that effort would be more. That effort would be more from our side and also from you, certainly. And these are, again, some other programs which we are running in collaborative with IIT BHU and DLT Labs, one of those companies. I would end my talk here, and I would request Sonal to allow participants to unmute themselves, and if they want to ask certain questions, we are open for it. And before we start the discussion, just this banner, this information is for you all. In addition to this webinar which we are organizing, today we have a Senior Director from CDEC Mumbai, Dr. CP Johnson sir, who would be also organizing a webinar, a live question answer session with you, every student who want to know more about these courses, PG Diploma admissions of March 2020 batch, where the CCAT would be on this January 22nd and 23rd January. So these are the details, meeting ID and passcode. You could get this, you could note down this, or I would share on the WhatsApp group also. So thank you very much, and over to you, Sonal. You could allow all of them to, if they want to ask certain questions or any related to ACTS or related to AI, you can ask any questions.
Thank you so much, sir, for this insightful presentation. All the participants, you are allowed to ask any questions, and I request you to ask any questions you have, because it's a golden moment to ask the experts. So please ask, and in case of any doubt, you may leave message in chat box also. So one question from Sanjeev Kumar: how we can use AI for inverse kinematics? I think
Amarjeet sir.
For Amarjeet sir.
Inverse kinematics, that means you wanted to retrack the movement and apply it for disabled people. If you are meaning for that, that means there are models which can take visual and their physical data and many parameters medically and physically, and they can be trained, and there are many organizations working on it. So what you can do is you can train a model which can simulate a human body kinematics. So first you means generate data, pick up data sets where you can observe what are the parameters or factors responsible for making that movement. Like some might be neurological data, some might be the muscle movement, some might be the strength of the a person. So weight, height, the surface, the accessory he or she will be wearing. So all those data can be collected and could be given as an input to AI model. Like, yes, yes, like robotic arm, correct. So what they do, they can capture the neurological signals which is responsible for movement of a particular organ or a particular part of a body, and they can transform into an AI model. So it can receive that input as a signal and it start acting into the way a human a normal organ can do. So there are models available, there are algorithms available, there are studies material available. You can go through and you could get, because it would be a very long answer if I can start explaining the process. But basically, yes, it is done. It is being done. The reverse means, that means you have to already capture that data so that you can train it. That is getting that physiological movement into a certain parametric, what we call mathematical or probabilistic model, and then you can apply it to some other person to which you are going to fit this robotic arm. I hope this answered the question.
Thank you, sir. I hope you
Yeah,
got
so
the-
next question is related to CCAT and ACT scores. So, all right. So starting with Chandra Bhushan, how to prepare CCAT exam. Chandra Bhushan, it is very simple. I would request that the slide. Let me just share the link on WhatsApp so that you can get an idea about the course content. So if you get an idea about the course content, you would be very relaxed to know that these are basic courses. These are just basic fundamentals we are covering in our BTech. And I hope you are BTech or MCA students, any of those. So these are courses like computer fundamentals are there. Then we have OS fundamentals. So this all OS fundamental, computer C programming, basic of C programmings. Then we have object-oriented C++, object-oriented C programming is there. So these are things which you have already covered in your BTech throughout those 4-year duration. But again, we just want to know that, okay, you have that fundamental understanding on which we can build on our course. So that it would be very simple for you to prepare. And depending on the marks you obtained, a merit list is generated and the ranks are allotted. And depending on the marks, different centers and different courses are there. So for AI, we have CDEC Pune, CDEC Noida, and CDEC Patna. So these 3 centers are basically running AI, and as we have the supercomputer of AI to fuel your thoughts, fuel your projects. Another doubt of Ram Kishore, when free course launch. So these are sponsored courses, Ram Kishore, from different departments. So it depends on the departments. If they are launching, they would certainly put on the news in the news ad. You can have a look there. And for this batch, I'm not sure for OBC CST course is being launched. Anyhow, you can look for it. They would be surely, it would be also coming on our website, acts.cdac.in, acts.c.in, and also on the newspaper through DIT, Department of Information Technology, Government of Bihar. Now next is RD. Sorry if I get RD. That would be great if you get selected for AI course at Patna Center. And will I get a chance? Certainly you will get, because the current batch of students who is already undergoing the training, they are for their project work, we are giving them instance of HPC, high performance computing power. So certainly, if we are committing, and the infrastructure is in place only for this, right? It is for two purposes. One is for research and development for our scientists, and one is for the students who are getting enrolled, so that they understand, they get a look and how and the feel of the speed up or the supercomputer computing power or the coding pattern, the coding way they should write a code so that it is optimized for a supercomputer. Certainly, you will get a chance to work on a supercomputer. All right. Yeah. Thank you. Anyone else? Any doubt? So major point is the date is till 13 January. Those who are interested, or if you feel that your friend would be interested, or your colleague, or any of your seniors, juniors would be interested, please broadcast it to them. And looking forward that you can register for it, clear it, and apply for artificial intelligence course of CTech Patna. And in general, all these 12 courses, which is mentioned in the right side of the image, that is a booklet link I've given you. It is also available on our website, acts.cdac.in. Any other query? All right, so Sonal, we can end the session here.
Yes, sir. So this concludes the webinar. Thank you so much, Mr. Amarjit Sharma and Mr. Saket Jha for this insightful presentation. And thank you all for attending. We hope you have learned and enjoyed the session. Thank you so much for